He's the Hall of Famer. He's Dennis Eckersley, who joins us on the show. Eck, a little bit of trivia here for you. Let me see how you'll do. How did you do against Derek Jeter?
Ooh, I didn't face him that many times. I don't think. I don't.
4 times.
What did I face him 4 times?
Yeah.
I don't think he got a hit. Did he?
Yeah, 0 for 4. You owned him.
Yeah, I owned him.
Yeah. But did you know? When's the last time you faced Jeter? What year?
98.
Okay, so he was already established at the time. But if you look back on that, did you ever think that guy was going to be this guy that we're seeing tonight?
God, that's tough. That's a tough call, because he wasn't, back in the days of the shortstops, he wasn't the one with all the power, right? That was back with the Nomars and the A-Rods, right?
Yeah.
And even Tejada came up after that.
Yeah.
So, they were the sexy ones, but this guy happened to be the consistent one. But, the book is still out on him, right? Pitch him in, right? He fights it off. I remember that's what they said when I first saw him. Say, hey, pitch him in. They've been doing it for 20 years.
Most frustrating guy you ever faced?
Oh, frustrating. Wow. Probably Rod Carew.
Oh, he was.
Wasn't he? He just take his little base hit.
But didn't that frustrate? Would you rather have a guy who just was hitting bullets or just, I'm just going to flick it over here or flick it over here?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I didn't like the flick it over here stuff. I didn't care if a guy tried to go bridge, because he'd swing real hard. They may get you, but, they're going to swing and miss a lot, like Reggie,
Did you, but was that, how much fun is that? Reggie Jackson settles in, and he's, sitting dead red.
Yeah.
How much fun was that you knew it was just, I know what he wants to do, and he knows what I'm going to do?
Yeah, it wasn't like, if you struck out Reggie Jackson, you didn't feel like you were the greatest pitcher in the world. He struck out 2,500 times, right? It's probably like Mantle, I know guys back in the day struck out Mantle, but he punched out all the time. Let alone what guys are doing nowadays, punching out all the time.
Who reminds you that they took you deep?
Who reminds me? I'll tell you one, buddy. He may not remind me, but Kurt Gibson reminds me. He doesn't even have to remind me, man. I'm watching. I'm at the All-Star game. I walk into this place, and they're playing the damn thing on this big screen when I got here. Like, this is the All-Star game. This is not the World Series. Right? I can't get away from it.
And I didn't even mean to go there, Eck.
I know, but I just saw it. When I walked in, I couldn't get over it. You know what I mean? It was unbelievable. They're playing it over and over and over again. What is this?
But what comes to mind, though? Does it take you back and you think what?
I think, boy, that was a great moment. What a great moment for the game, I think. No, it does. It goes back in time. It's like it's been so long. I'm in the midst of going back to Oakland this week for the '89 World Series. Mm-hmm. For the Earthquake Series, we're going to have a reunion. So that sort of took the sting out of that. Thank God we won the next year. But more than anything, how much time has passed? It's been so long.
But did you understand? You were there with a cast of characters. Certainly. Did you know Canseco was crazy?
Oh, I don't know if he's crazy. He was just, he had an inferiority complex to beat the band.
What do you mean?
But he just thought everybody was against him. And everybody loved McGuire and everybody hated him. That's what I remember back in those days. It bothered him at that time.
How good?
But those were great years, though.
Well, you look at that team, though, and yeah. The knock is probably you guys should have won more.
Oh yeah,
you agree?
Don't you think we were the best team in the game for those 3 years?
Oh man, yeah, you guys
without a doubt.
Yeah, and the Reds humbling though. Nobody saw. That one. Well, okay. If you're gonna, I hate to go through these painful memories here, Eck.
Yeah, that's all right.
But if you're rating, losing in those 3 years, what was more painful? Obviously, with the Dodgers humbled you guys and the Reds humbled you guys.
Yeah, which was more painful? Probably. Well, for me, it was the Dodgers, but the Reds, to get swept by them, I thought we had the best team in the game without a doubt in 1990. And and once again, it comes down to pitching. Jose Rio was 1990, and the Nasty Boys or whatever. But it's not that easy to try to win 3 in a row. We didn't even come close.
He's Dennis Eckersley, Hall of Fame pitcher, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. I know it's hard to compare pitchers with, because generationally, it's different. But Clayton Kershaw, that, people, Sandy Koufax's name doesn't come up very often. And it's come up now. We had Vin Scully on. He said it's hard to compare the two, even though they're Dodger left-handers, the way the game was in the 60s for Sandy Koufax to the way the game is now. Who would you compare Kershaw to with just this type of dominance?
Well, there's nobody else who could. He's been living with that Koufax on him for a long, long time. He wasn't as smooth as Koufax. He's kind of funky. He's got sort of deception there. But what makes him Koufax is that curveball. They hit nothing off that curveball. I mean, that's what sets him apart. And obviously, I think having to pitch in this day and age is a lot more difficult than it was. And saying I wouldn't want to hoot on Sandy, but I'm just saying it's tougher to pitch now than I think it was then. But who else to compare him to? I don't know.
Pedro Martinez, I thought.
Oh, sure. But Pedro, to me, pitching in the American League and in the midst of all the PEDs is probably, to me, the best ever. As far as what he did in those 6-year period, then nothing compares to that.
How would you know if somebody's hit a home run off of you that they shouldn't have, that they got help doing it? Would you know that as a pitcher?
Well, when I used to give them up, they didn't just go over the fence. I never looked back at somebody, a small guy that hit it out and thought twice about it. I think I was fairly clueless at the time too, because I finished in '98, and obviously that stuff was going on previous to that.
Yeah, well, '98 was the coming out party. It seemed like. Oh,
totally. But it was happening 10 years before that.
Why didn't you think about doing it?
Because I didn't think it would help. I thought I'm from old school, thinking that you had to be. You had to be loosey-goosey, right?
Yeah.
Back in the days when you don't lift any weights, 0 weights, right? You don't want to have any chest. That's the age that I came from. Little did I know, how helpful that it would have been. I'm glad I didn't do it, though, because I'm in the Hall of Fame and I could sleep at night,
Do you think there's guys in the Hall of Fame who've used?
Probably. I'm not thinking one guy in particular, but probably. I wouldn't be shocked, would you?
No.
No.
Your mustache was on steroids, by the way.
Oh, yeah, about my mustache. I saw your program the other day. Who's that guy?
McLovin? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a tired mustache.
Well,
that's it. Huh? It's not going that good, is it?
Actually, Kirk Gibson liked it a lot.
Oh, isn't that cute?
Holy smokes, it's a walk-off, Eck.
That's a walk-off mustache.
McLovin.
No, but this is about my hair. This is about Head and Shoulders.
Yes, and your mustache was on steroids, but I know you're working with Head and Shoulders. And plus, you stole my, my catchphrase from SportsCenter, season of the #whiff campaign.
Yes, season of the whiff.
Whiff.
I think it's a cute little campaign. It's been going on for a long, long time. But this year, you get a chance to win a trip to the World Series.
And what do they have to do?
They have to go to Head and Shoulders for Men on Twitter and then tweet whiff.
That's it.
And that's it. It's easy. But it's only till the end of the All-Star week to do it.
Okay.
So you got to get on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's great to talk to you again, Eck. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, it's but thanks. It's always good. And I said this before, and you and Mitch Williams. I mean, there's certain guys who've been through these moments, and you were a stand-up guy to answer questions after what happened with Gibson, Mitch Williams when he gave up the home run to Joe Carter, Bill Buckner, 86. Yeah. And I always appreciated that because it's hard to sit there when you got to talk about something negative. And I've always appreciated that with you, that you stood up, you answered it. You may not have answered it, willingly, but you did it. But I always appreciated it.
That's the worst thing that's going to happen to you. Really, Dan. What are you going to do? I'm in the Hall of Fame. I'm a lucky man.
And you got great hair still.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. Thank you, Eck.
All right.
That's Dennis Eckersley, part of a season of the hashtag Whiff.